guys, how you going? I don't know if you can hear my cat purring next to the microphone there, but and I wasn't here yesterday, sorry guys, feeling a bit under the weather. I will do what I can over the next few days, and then I'm babysitting at the end of the week. Okay, there's a few things I wanted to point out here. This was like from how many days ago? 3 days, yep, 3 days ago. Google co-founder, other billionaires are issued subpoenas in lawsuit over JP Morgan's ties to Jeff Epstein. Sergey Brin, Thomas Pritzker, Mortimer Zuckerman, and Michael Ovitz are asked for information in US Virgin Islands civil lawsuit against the bank. JP Morgan, accused of facilitating the alleged crimes of the late Epstein, says it didn't know about them and can't be held liable. The US Virgin Islands issued subpoenas this week to Sergey Brin, whatever his name is, Thomas Pritzker, Mortimer Zuckerman, and Michael Ovitz to gather information for its civil lawsuit against JP Morgan, Chase and Co. over the bank's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, according to people familiar with the matter. The subpoenas from the US Territories Attorney General seek any communications and documents related to the bank and Epstein, the people said. The four men are some of the wealthiest people in the US, and it couldn't be determined why they were being asked for the communications and documents. In civil cases, lawyers can use subpoenas during the discovery process to get information from people who aren't a party to a lawsuit but could provide evidence related to the case. The US Virgin Islands sued JP Morgan late last year in a Manhattan federal court, saying the bank facilitated Epstein's alleged trafficking and abuse by allowing the late financier to remain a client and helping him send money to his victims. The civil lawsuit alleges that JP Morgan received referrals of high-value business opportunities from Epstein and turned a blind eye to his activities. The bank said it didn't know about Epstein's alleged crimes and can't be held liable. Mr. Brin is co-founder of Google and a board member of parent Alphabet, Inc. Mr. Pritzker is executive chairman of the Hyatt Hotels Corp. Mr. Zuckerman is a real estate billionaire and owner of US News and World Report. Mr. Ovitz is a venture capitalist and former talent agent for Hollywood stars. The four men couldn't immediately be reached for comment. A spokeswoman for US News and World Report declined to comment. Spokespeople for Google and Hyatt didn't respond to requests for comment. Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan's chairman and chief executive, is expected to be questioned as part of the case after the two sides reached an agreement for him to be deposed, the Journal reported earlier this week. Epstein, who had a residence in the US Virgin Islands, banked with JP Morgan for a number of years until it cut ties with a convicted offender in 2013. Epstein died in jail Epstein didn't kill himself in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal trafficking charges of a sexual nature. Okay. I'm trying to just get around the algorithms here, guys. Just bear with me. Lawyers have questioned several JP Morgan employees so far in this case, and another filed by an unnamed woman who accused Epstein of abuse. The cases are running together in Manhattan federal court. JP Morgan has sought to have the lawsuits dismissed. The bank has denied that it aided Epstein and has sought to blame any relationship on former executive Jez Starley, who the bank has sued. Mr. Starley has maintained he was friendly with Epstein but never knew about his alleged crimes. So I found that very interesting. So let's go back over here. I went through the Wall Street Journal and I picked up just a couple of, whether they're telling the truth or not, right? I'm not sure, but I picked up a couple of things that I found interesting. Switzerland's prosecutors are probing the government orchestrated takeover of Credit Suisse Group by rival UBS Group. They're going to analyse and identify if any criminal offence has taken place, I believe. So they're looking into it. Yep, took place under the deal. which also involved the government, the financial regulator, FINMA, and Switzerland's central bank, a spokeswoman said in a statement. So here's another big thing going on. And I just wanted to point these out because while we were all distracted with the other thing going on, with the transformer, other things have been happening in the background. So that's what it makes me think of a distraction of some sort. Okay, so this is being looked at, and there's things happening all over the world as well. Representatives for the UBS and Swiss Finance Ministry and Credit Suisse declined to comment. Yep, that's not the only thing that's going on. Banks across Australia are starting to not give out cash. The Wall Street Journal, McDonald's is temporarily closing its US offices this week as it prepares to inform corporate employees about layoffs. Interesting. Its offices, I don't know if it's shutting the actual drive-through at the restaurants, but it says it's closing its US offices. So I found that very interesting. And is it what they're telling us it is, or is it another reason? I've got a funny feeling something's going to happen very shortly, guys. Again, the Wall Street Journal. Oh, put this in for a reason. America's newest parking solution is getting rid of it. People are looking for a place to live, not to park. Well, when you don't have anywhere to park, they're going to make the cities car free. You won't have a car either. I think that's what they're aiming at there with this. Okay, Stephen said, Sydney Morning Herald wants Mark Latham expelled because of his comments. You know, the ones about, he said, well, gay people put it in people's, you know, rear, and, yeah, something about shit in there too. So anyway, yeah, it was pretty much just telling the truth, exactly how it is. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. Indigenous leader Noel Pearson called Malcolm Turnbull a white CU in the NT, and Indigenous Minister Ken Hyatt a black CU in the NT. They think we are stupid, vote no. So there you go. They want Mark Latham expelled for telling the truth, and they want, and then this Indigenous leader has called people a white C, a black C, and expects you not to say anything at all. Okay, the other side, Australia said great result in Finland elections overnight, with the centre, Greens and Left parties losing a total of 20 seats. 37-year-old PM Sana Marin's Social Democrats picked up only 3 of those. Petteri Orpo's National Coalition won the platform of balancing the budget, reducing spending on the dole and government housing, and building more nuclear plants. They picked up 10 seats, while the Finns party picked up 7 on a platform of anti-immigration and anti-EU. Funny what happens when you stand up for your principles and your nation. Exactly, there you go. OGP said crowd booing Albanese, which is our Prime Minister here in Australia, at Optus Stadium in Perth is a highlight of today. He was apparently booed at the stadium, so yeah, not many people like him. Snarkish Dano said, look who's back, everyone, and with some solid advice too. Okay, Brooklyn Dad is one of the saddest embodiments of the leftist vitriol that we've ever seen. Their posts are prolific in absurdity and disassociation from reality. They used to attack our old accounts on a weekly basis with lies, accusations and threats. They're known for ignorance, denial and lucid stupidity. This leftist liar and narcissist is bought and paid for, promoted in Spotlight. It's a propaganda machine employed to spread dissent and doubt. The account has never been banned despite our reports of it when they issued literal threats against us. While millions of us who dealt with their lies and attacks were suspended and banned for nothing more than telling the truth. Brooklyn Dad has had a free pass and direct orders to wreak as much havoc as possible while displaying as much denial and insanity as possible. Insta-block and report if you see violations. Maybe Musk's new system will remove whatever protections are covering that account. And I've heard this before, and this is from 40 Head, which follow. Okay, the old people who are coming back. Liz Churchill said, wonderful, the partying WEF Prime Minister of Finland is out. Another SS defeated. Does anyone remember when I reported on this lady? She was partying, just like clueless, really. And Liz Churchill said, good Lord, people, do you not learn? Patiri Orpo is another one. Klaus, I don't know, is he? Okay, well, take that, you know, with a grain of salt. I don't know who that other person is. The opinionated black woman said, cashless, ANZ move, now Westpac, NAB, CBA reveal plans. Oh no, I thought the NAB was going to be alright, but I don't think it is now. They're limiting transactions. Here we go. Oh dear. Scott Ryan said, fire her. This was a police officer, right, who, someone got attacked, I believe, by a trans individual, and the police officers were all laughing and not taking it seriously at all. They didn't go after the perpetrator. They just stood there and laughed at the victim. She was one of them. There was another man too. Alexandria Marshall said any teacher that tells a child they're guilty and or responsible for historical crimes because of the colour of their skin should be immediately removed. That kind of ideology is not only morally reprehensible, it's poison for the next generation. Yeah, it's poisoning the children's minds against each other. It's horrible. Old Soldier said the conga line continues. Duchess of Exeter? I don't know. What is it that these Labour premiers? Pelachuk joins premier's parade to China. Oh, she's going to China too, is she? Can they stay there? Look, Dan's over there. Can China, please, China, can you keep them? We don't want them back. Seriously. I don't think anyone in the country wants them back. You can keep them. Keep them over there. Show them what they're fighting for. Because we know they're just useful idiots. Jeffrey Blackman, Australia First, said Indian community leaders call for more education around their culture. Well, why? We're not even getting our own culture taught here. They're not teaching good Australia, they're teaching lies. This is Australia. If they want to teach foreign culture, then let the parents do it. Exactly. Well, look, we're not even getting Australian culture in Australia, so how Indian culture, you know? Dear me. Dinesh D'Souza said, Christian actor Kirk Cameron doesn't back down after being refused entry to library for faith-based story hour. Well done, Kirk Cameron. Wasn't he from, oh my goodness. Now I can't remember. I just looked it up. I used to watch the show. Growing Pains, that's what it was. I used to watch that. And Family Ties and, oh my goodness, a lot of shows when I was younger. I used to be glued to the TV when I was young. No wonder I was a lefty for so long. Dinesh D'Souza said, watch former AG Barr sides with Trump, slams abomination indictment, makes us look like a banana republic. We are watching a movie. Like, I'm not... I know what Bill Barr did, and I did not agree with it. But I wonder if they're playing their part until they're needed. And they need to make the other side look, you know, make it look like they're on the other side. I don't know. Big game of chess happening here. Awakened Outlaw said many still don't see it, but many of you do. We're currently experiencing turbulence related to a grand paradigm shift. Does it suck? You bet it does. You know it remains temporary. Stand resolute in the truth. Do your part. Our republic is transitioning into our best version yet. I hope so for you guys, because we're being pulled along with you. Oh, here in Australia, we're not far behind you. Okay, Anthony said, those who say Trump divided our country, you're right. He divided common sense from stupidity and evil. That's exactly right. Jeffrey Blackman, Australia First, said Mark Latham refuses to apologise for homophobic tweet because it wasn't homophobic. He was stating it as it was, as it is. Like I said in the other video when I read out his tweet, there's no look, he just stated the truth. See, we're publicly in Australia now, they're being shown what happens when you speak the truth, what they do to you. Oh, you're homophobic, you're this, you're that. Bebo said, walk through Surrey Hills today, that's in Sydney. There were more trans flags than there were swastikas in Marine Platts in 1941. Almost every shop had tiny stickers in their window with trans flags saying proud, welcome. As a former history teacher, it scared me. I see what's coming. So that's a suburb in Sydney, near the Sydney Centre. Nick Holt said Australia's been psyoped into thinking the LGBT community are Holocaust survivors. And it does seem that way. Like, seriously, I don't know what... We're being shown again. And then the Posey Parker thing, I think, is also meant to show women that, hey, look at what happens when you try to be allies with these people. Mike Davis said gag orders generally protect the Sixth Amendment right of defendants to fair trials. Defendants still have First Amendment rights. Ordering any defendant not to speak about his charges would almost certainly violate the First Amendment. Telling a presidential candidate he cannot respond to allegations, including media leaks in a political prosecution, is un-American, and that's what they're trying to do to Trump. The opinionated black woman said Commonwealth Bank will start limiting customer withdrawals as to today, 3rd of April. Here we go. It's happening very quickly now, guys. Britain First said finally got some common sense. UK athletes will ban transformers from the women from competing in the female category from Saturday, following World Athletes regulations in all competitions, while Sharon Davies urges other British sports to join them. Great idea. Baron of Burleigh said the whole Aboriginal story needs to be torn apart and told factually, including full and complete details of the welfare system and multitude of money holes in place, detailing how much to who, what for, and accountability. It really needs to be looked at, because I believe a lot of people are being taught the wrong thing. The FNQ guy, he's taking the P surely. Is Marcus B. Stewart the whitest Aboriginal in Australia? He's just one of the elites lining up for a job for life in the VIP section of the Voice Gravy train. Big pay packets for no improvement in Indigenous communities. Oh dear God. 95% white, 100% grifter. Tom Fitton said all bets are off. You can expect grand jury indictments of leftist politicians like Biden, Pelosi and Schumer as surely as night follows day, said Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. You can be sure there are prosecutors across Florida and Texas right now who are looking for a state law hook into the Biden family, and if they're not doing their jobs. I believe it is happening, actually. I'm hearing that from more than one place. JD said, what do you call this? Insane? Maybe? What do other people think? Hang on. Freak show? Someone screaming for help? Mentally ill. That's what I think anyway. Alexandra Marshall said Dan Andrews goes on a secret trip with no reporters to our most dangerous geopolitical rival for a series of backroom handshakes, and the left are fine with it. If Scott Morrison had done this, you'd never hear the end of it. I'm not sticking up for Scott Morrison. I don't think he did it any good either, to be honest. Scotty said, honest question, is everyone prepared to start moving this stuff when it starts appearing in the streets? Because if the answer is no, then it's all downhill from here. Huh. Kindling? I don't know. If it's cold, I would. Oh, I'm not the only one. Jesus, never knew I had so many pyromaniacs amongst my followers. Yes, it's the first thing I thought too. Oh my goodness. Going on recent evidence, they won't be here very long. Oh, people are starting to take out like cameras and everything, you know. All this stuff. I went through Elon Musk's timeline for a couple of tweets from him. The good old days. Life before Google Maps. This is like a kid's playing mat, right? They weren't like that, but they were like just, you know, the map unfolded to really quite large. And it would cover the whole windscreen, definitely, without a problem. But those were the days. And Elon Musk is even saying, the good old days. I think we need to go back to something like that. Elon Musk said, Twitter open source spaces discussion happening right now. He's opened the source code for Twitter. This is most of the recommendation code. In the coming weeks, we'll open source literally everything that contributes to showing a tweet such that the output can at least be roughly approximated. So they're releasing that. There's a lot I don't agree with Elon Musk on, honestly. And I had a funny feeling that the reason I dreamt he was smiling at me is because I thought he was like a robot. He looks a bit like a robot. Anyway, the real tragedy of New York Times is that their propaganda isn't even interesting. Also, their feed is the Twitter equivalent of diarrhea. It's unreadable. They would have far more real followers if they only posted their top articles. Same applies to all publications. And I thought that was good because I think he's taken the New York Times, the blue check mark off them. Yep. He's taken their blue check mark away. Okay, Ultra Lady Inspector 7, Whoopi Goldberg. ABC declines to renew Whoopi Goldberg's contract. It's time to move on. They didn't fire her. They didn't cancel her. They didn't even cancel her show. What ABC did instead to deal with its never-ending Whoopi Goldberg problem was to simply decline to re-sign her to a new contract. The move will cost Goldberg her lead on a popular show and upwards of $36 million per year in salary and endorsements. Well, good, because she's just been... I don't know whether you guys have watched The View lately or heard, but like over the years, she's just been going hard on all the lefty talking points, and she's lost it. AussieBot said trans kids are groomed kids. Transformer kids are abused kids. Lock this pedo up. Oh, here we go again. Not this guy. Where's my headphones? My cat is sitting on the headphones. Okay. Oh, no, she's not. No. Good. Okay. Let's listen to this. Because I've got something to say to him. Catch Up said, let me tell you something about this. The alphabet rights, about transformer rights. This is only going in one direction. You will respect us. No, and I don't have to. There you go. Ready?
Let me tell you something about LGBTQ rights, about trans rights. This is only going in one direction. You will respect us. You can be upset. You can be angry. You can think it's unfair. You can feel like we're stealing something from you. But it's still only going in one direction. You will respect us.
I will not.
Let me tell you something about LGBTQ rights, about trans...
Just for those who may not have heard it, I think that sound didn't come through very well. I'm just going to play it again, guys.
It's alright. This is only going in one direction. You will respect.
He's saying you will respect us. Well, no. Respect is earned. And it's not certainly not earned like this. Oh, my goodness. But yeah, no. No, you can't make me either. It's easy. I'll laugh at you. You cannot make me respect you. Respect is earned, not just given. Okay. Rosita Diaz said, we now officially have only one political party in this country, something that thinking people have already known for decades, but yesterday was exposed. Welcome to the future, comrades. Dan Andrews back from communist China yesterday after getting his orders. Oh no, why didn't they keep him? Anastasia Palaszczuk going later this year. Mark McGowan's going. Senator Wong went. Albo MP went. And PM Alina Orcus MP going soon. Or Melina, I don't know how to... Oh, seriously. All of them getting their instructions and pay packets, selling out Australia. Ah, definitely. Oh, I was hoping they'd keep Dan Andrews for sure. Nyangai Warren Mundine said, the voice will never fix this. Ben Fordham Live said, what are your plans tonight? If you're in the top end, they'd be a lot different. Weekends in Alice Springs are out of control. Darren Clark has invited the PM to see it for himself. Listen to his full comments.
You come up for a weekend, Prime Minister. I'm inviting you. I'll take you around, mate. Drive in my car. You can bring your boys with you to look after you. I'll drive you around, and I'll take you out to the suburbs they never showed you. I'll show you the kids on the streets. We'll go and have a talk to them. I'll show you the carnage that goes on in this place. I'll take you to victims of crime so you can actually talk to them. You can talk to the women that got attacked in Woolworths last week. You can do all that. We can do that. And what you can also do, Prime Minister, I'm inviting, you can have the spare room at my house. You can sleep over and just lay there and experience the fear that we live with. And if you don't want to stay at my house, I'll take you to a couple of other suburbs that are way, way worse and lay there and listen to what goes on. Because it is frightening. We've got a woman yesterday, she's leaving town today because her house got broken into. Her 11-year-old, they've been broken into before. Her 11-year-old has suffered depression now for months and months and months. She can't go through it anymore. She can't put a daughter through it anymore. She has to leave. People are leaving in their droves here, Prime Minister. Come up. Do not tell this government or the authorities you are coming. Come up here. I'll show you around. I'll show you around, mate, and you will see the true story. This is above politics. This is above agendas. This is about people that are in real danger and real Australians are hurting. Not just... You've got Indigenous people here that live in this town. They're hurting. You've got people like me. We're all hurting. You've got businesses that don't have customers of a night because people are too scared to go out. People are too scared to leave their own homes at night for fear of being attacked on the streets or that their house will get broken into. You want to go away for a weekend or you want to fly away for a holiday here. You have to have people come and stay at your house to look after your house or you don't go. Because if you come back, it'll be trashed. We cannot live like this.
There you go. That's from Alice Springs here in Australia.
You come up...
Inviting the PM. Dinesh D'Souza said New York City's a joke. Manhattan prosecutors charge victim of assault with attempted murder. Oh, great. If that's not clown world, upside down world, Twilight Zone stuff, I don't know what is. Seriously. Chicago Ray said, if you don't think this is a crime, you're probably a leftist Democrat. Hunter. Who's this? Yeah. Looks young. Malcolm Roberts said, brave young adults showing care for children. Truth is emerging and it's liberating. And Juanita Broderick said, "Oh my God, the truth is coming out. Please retweet." Okay, listen to this one.
A mentally ill teenager who had been groomed and preyed upon and sexually exploited online to the point of authorities getting involved. I spiraled into a hatred of myself and my body and was told that it was just because I was a boy born in the wrong body and that this would fix me. I was affirmed down a path where I wasn't given any other choice as to what would help me. The very first medical intervention I ever had was a double mastectomy at 16. And then a few months later, I was put on testosterone. I'm now 21, and I will live with the impacts of that so-called care for the rest of my life. In the past 4 or 5 months, I have watched as my body has fallen apart in front of me, my joints constantly hurting, my vocal cords aching, watching as parts of me atrophy away before my very eyes. And yet at 16, they looked me in the eyes and they told me this was care. They told me it would save me. Despite the fact I was never suicidal, my parents were baited with the idea of, would you rather have a dead daughter or a living son? Bullied into going along with it. Their biggest crime being trusting those who they thought took an oath to do no harm. It's not about hate, detransitioning. It never has been. It's about keeping kids whole. I've worked with children. I've seen them explore the world, and I've seen that magic that they have. And doing something like transitioning them takes that away. How can you look me in the eyes and tell me that a child can consent to being chained to an experimental medical industry before they're even old enough to drive or understand the impacts of what that means in the first place?
That's right.
Kids deserve to be kids. They deserve to get to explore the world as a safe and loving place.
These people need to be able to sue
Mentally ill.
the people that did that to them. Alexandria Marshall said, "We have at least 3 serious and dangerous activist movements inside our schools preying on our children. Race-obsessed, gender-obsessed and climate-obsessed. Predatory movements are leaving our kids emotionally distraught, physically harmed and ideologically ruined." And they've been doing the climate-obsessed one for a long time. This is in Alexandria Marshall is an Australian. So that's what I mean. It happens in America, then it comes here. Dinesh D'Souza said, following indictment, President Trump dominates the polls with massive lead. They're going to make him win. They are going to make him win. Craig Kelly said, AFRA are the most corrupt bureaucracy in the nation in Australia. AFRA are the ones who have a say in what medication and medical stuff happens. They've been the hitman of Big Pharma and doing the jab pushers dirty work by silencing free speech and taking out any doctor that expresses an alternate opinion. Bullying and intimidation are AFRA's tools of trade. They operate without respect for the rule of law, denying those they accuse of access to justice. So brutal and dictatorial they are their practices. They are killing doctors. Oh. These malfeasants at AFRA need to be the first in dock at Nuremberg 2.0. Wow. It's falling apart on them. Craig Kelly said, unusually thick sea ice. Hang on a minute. Didn't the Prophet Gore foretell to his worshippers that sea ice would have all melted away by now? Unusually thick sea ice to make for challenging... See? This happens every year. Every year when they say things like this, then it's more difficult to get through. Sea could lead to a difficult summer navigation along parts of Russia's northern sea route this summer, says the country's Arctic and Antarctic Research Institute. Seriously, look it up every year. Antarctica and the Arctic grow in ice and snow more every year they normally tell you in when it's summertime in that area that the ice is all melting. Of course, it's summer. But it still doesn't melt that much. And then in winter, it gathers even more ice and snow. Well, hello there. I was replying to Chris Minns. Okay, and Chris Minns said, we're banning mobile phones in New South Wales Public School from day 1, term 4 this year. And, well, hello there, said, did the recording of what the teacher was teaching the kids scare you? In other words, I think they're going to be held accountable because people have been recording what the teachers have been teaching them. Craig Kelly said it's over for the jab fanatics. Finally, the media is starting to report the truth. These jabs are not a magic potion for which any criticism is blasphemy, but they are a failed experimental product which has caused untold harm. Check out some of the truth published in the Australian's article, which could be titled Craig Kelly Was Right. The damn wall has finally broken. In the US and Australia, the chapter of silence on reporting about the jab injuries appears to have slammed shut. Throughout the pandemic, jabs attained an almost exalted status that ensured any critics, no matter the quality of their evidence, were unfairly disparaged as anti-jabbers, cookers, or simply ignored. At the very outset, compelling entire populations to take a scientifically novel jab produced on a political timetable against a disease that for the bulk of people was a bad cold was a highly questionable policy, arguably trashing traditional medical ethics about informed consent. Yet even as it became clear throughout 21-22 that the experts pushing the jab mandates had been wrong over and over again, safe and effective remained the mantra. There was never a pandemic of the unjabbed. Breakthrough cases were never rare. Indeed, by 2022 it was a big chunk of those dying from or with had been boosted. Warning signs were flashing bright red about safety all along. On top of that, most countries are nursing unprecedented and largely unexplained increases in excess mortality, which a recent study from Norway concluded was partly attributable to the share of the population that was jabbed in 21, alongside a host of other variables. An abundance of studies has shown that these jabs are neither safe nor effective, but outright dangerous. She and co-author Astrid Lefringhausen concluded, arguing the jabs presented a greater health risk to young healthy people than the problem itself. It was one of the most shocking things I'd read in years, a detailed review scrupulously referenced, pointing to the growing plethora of scientific studies around the world that were casting doubt on the effectiveness and safety of the jab from 2021. The point of a free media is to challenge authority, especially massive incursions on human rights, but many of us became cheerleaders for the health bureaucracy and politicians, assuming all were faithfully acting in the public interest. Panic may resent it, ignorance may deride it, malice may distort it, but there it is. Winston Churchill once famously said of the truth, the mountain of bias and ignorance that's weighed on reporting on the jabs is starting to crumble. So there you go. It's coming out. Things are happening, guys. They really are. Juanita Broderick said, well, this was a huge surprise. I have no idea what they're referring to. Does Hillary Clinton know? Okay. Just remember this bit. Does Hillary Clinton know? Twitter has written to Juanita Broderick and said, hello. We're writing to you because a concerned individual has recently alerted us to a potentially self-harming comments posted on your account. In difficult times and when you need someone to talk to, it may help to speak to professionals who can assist you in coping with your current circumstances. If you're having thoughts of self-harm or depression, we encourage you to please reach out to someone and request help. Our safety centre has a list of resources you can consult for a variety of reasons, including depression, loneliness, substance abuse, illness, relationship problems, and economic problems. You know what she did? I think she tweeted about Hillary Clinton. And that's what and someone reported it like that. Okay, so there you go. I think I honestly think Juanita Broderick has been talking and putting memes up about Hillary Clinton. Leading report said, breaking, Larry Elder says, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton and AOC will all be indicted. I am certainly hoping so. Because now what they're doing to Trump sets a precedent for it to be done to others. C. Young said, now you know what the Founding Fathers meant by enemies foreign and domestic. I definitely do. I understand now. I really do. Okay, yep, there you go. Benny Johnson said, breaking, Twitter has unverified the New York Times. They got no little tick beside their name anymore. Matt Walsh said, Transformer people are the most privileged minority in history. Every institution bends over backwards to celebrate them. Laws are written to accommodate their feelings. Society restructures itself to affirm them. The least oppressed group of all time, but they can't stop complaining. Because that's all they've got. Which cat did that? I heard a little, oh, what are you doing, Twitter? Oh, at least it came back to the right place. Liz Churchill said an American man has been found guilty in the first ever meme trial, but not one client that went to Epstein Island has been held accountable. Catherine Deves says, oh no, it's 12 days since World Pride and Mardi Gras. Quickly deploy Trans Day of Visibility. Don't let punters forget to focus on all things alphabet. Occupy Society 101. Impose celebration days, stake insignia and flags, assert cultural dominance and punish those who won't submit. Like the suburb in Sydney that we were showing earlier in the video, Surrey Hills, that's what they've done. Occupy a suburb. That's what they've got. Yeah, look, they've been doing it all over Sydney. Okay. Mr. Parker said, well, folks, strap in. It's going to be a rough ride. Danger. Now totally operated by morons. And I may have shared this one before, but I'm going to share it as many times as I have to because that's exactly how it feels. Mark Allen Pierce said French MP who got the jab developed heart problems, required surgery to keep him alive. He says, what I did not know was that Mr. Macron had not jabbed. I did not know most of the members of the government were not. And he took it. Carolina Viper said, here you go, Australian Labor. This is what happens when you're in government. Instead of building 1 million new homes that Jim Chalmers promised in his budget speech, major construction companies collapsing, leaving 1,500 homes unfinished. But let's concentrate on voice and climate. And Jake said, hey, Dan Andrews, how's China going? Melbourne-based Porter Davis Homes, PDH, which boasts 470 employees and has more than 1,500 homes in progress, has collapsed and will be liquidated. So I don't know how they're going to do it anyway. Polly Bark said Marsha Langton wishes a slow, painful death on somebody. Lefties, yeah, but she's Indigenous. Penny Wong slurs a woman for not having kids. Lefties, yeah, but she's gay and Asian. Mark Latham describes an actual outcome of anal sex. And lefties, homophobic bigot. As you were. Andy No said militant trans activists being violent again. Dan Dick says he, Billboard Chris, gets violently assaulted right in the middle of my interview by an enraged and completely unhinged man. Who's the... Oh, he's got a... been punched in the nose or something?
Has been the behavior of the police here today.
Oh no, the cops didn't ride your dick.
They don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
She thought it was a joke. She thought it was...
Well, and I know so many cops who love
She didn't even want to look at your video. When she did look at it twice, she later said that she didn't even see it. This other officer took down my...
Oh, that was the officer I showed you earlier, the lady officer. It's in Canada, I believe. I think. This was the guy who was assaulted and they did nothing about it. And all these people are allowed to harass this man.
My information, but they don't want to do anything about it. We've got the perpetrator on video.
Do you have any supporters here? Nah.
And there's nothing they want to do.
What do you think about the fact that they're being so angry and violent just like a week after a transgender activist shot and killed some people in a Christian school?
So these people are all mentally ill. But the police, man, I don't know what to say. It's just incredible, the state of Canada right now.
Oh dear God, look at them. I feel sorry for this man. Oh, anyway, I'm not going to show anymore. Dear God, I'm so over it. It's Tiff said, so according to our corrupt government, you can get indicted over a misdemeanor, sentenced to 10 years in prison over a meme, but you can roam free for selling uranium to Russia, inside trade as a member of Congress, and go attack kids on Epstein Island. Got it. Okay, we got it. All right. Oh, this. Mate said, what the F happened? Can we please go back to 2017 when the world had worthy Grand Prix grid girls? This is what they were like. Okay? Ready? Ready for it? Ready for it? This is them now. You gotta be kidding me. What the hell? What the hell is going on? Not that I agree, like, but they're still dressed more than these people. Some of them anyway. Sandy Yang said, expensive welcome to the country. Media insiders are claiming Indigenous elder Auntie Joy Murphy has invoiced the Obama Foundation $200,000 for a 1-minute authentic welcome to country ceremony for the former US President's climate speech. Okay, and Rob Bellew said, thousands of Victorians braving the rain to stand in solidarity with the trans community. You gotta be kidding. This is how brainwashed Australia is. Oh dear. Okay, Ian Miles Chong said, you probably can't believe that we now live in a world where a victim of the mass hooting with the S in front of it are blamed for the actions of the murderer, and the murderer is venerated as a martyr. Well, believe it. This is what happens when social insanity is left unchecked. Make asylums great again. Liz Churchill said America has completed their journey into becoming a banana republic by indicting President Trump and not Anthony Fauci or Bill Gates, who are literally guilty of genocide. This is incredible. Roxanne Fernando, the real Roxanne, said clear footage of NZ police ignoring violence against a small group of women that was set upon by trans rights extremists. Not even casually curious to look toward the problem after pleas for help. Almost as if they've been given instructions to turn a blind eye. They're all doing it. They're all doing it. What's going on here? Let me have a listen. Whoa. Sorry guys, that was noisy as. Whoa. I can't even tell what's going on here. Can someone else tell me? Okay, but there's a couple of people up here. I don't know if that's what the thing was. Okay. It's MAGA bitches, says I damn sure do. If they arrest Trump, who wants to see all the truckers stop delivering food and goods to New York City? Imagine that. That is... Would it turn it round, or would the people just suffer and not these idiots in charge? Okay. Crystal Mitchell said, I'm so sorry, Wilson. I'm sure no doubt the Transformer right activists did this to you will happily use your death statistic in support of their agenda, however, truly a disgraceful fake movement of narcissistic and creeper personalities. Ollie London said this brave gay man called out the danger of drag queen show for kids. Wilson Gavin, 21, of Australia, took his own life less than 24 hours later after being bombarded with death threats and hates from the Transformer activists because he spoke up for kids. Oh, mate, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, poor bloke. Aussiebot said, we want pollies who understand freedom of speech. What we really need is less woke lawyers, you soft pricks. Because Mark Q lawyers said Mark Latham is unfit to serve. Oh, because he said the truth. I wonder if this law office is full of maybe gay people. I don't know. Why? Someone make this make sense. Okay. The opinionated black woman said Putin signed a decree on a new concept of Russian foreign policy. Its main things are Russia does not consider itself an enemy of the West and does not isolate itself from it. Does not have hostile intentions. Moscow is counting on a return to equal interaction with the West. The Kremlin sees the US exchange as the main source of risks to its security. The main focus will be on removing the vestiges of US dominance in the world. Russia strives to ensure security equally for all countries. Deepening ties with China and India is of particular importance. The main goal in the near abroad is turning the region into a zone of peace, good neighbourliness and prosperity. I do believe that's what he wants, but just these people here and this man here are not letting them. Yeah, Ukrainians will turn on. He ruined there while enriching himself. Oh, Zelensky did. His election promise was peace, but war is what they got. He destroys religious freedom while colluding with, these type of people here. He could have honoured peace agreements with the East instead of lying with the West. Okay, and the guy who got locked up facing 10 years for a meme. You've got to be kidding me. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there for today. I will be back as soon as possible. I don't know if I need to take a couple of days off or what's going on. But anyway, I'll try and see you as soon as possible. Have a good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.